Hello. So with IndyCar starting back, we're gonna dive into a little, IndyCar news, make some predictions on the season. I will give who I think will win the Indy 500 this year, and go into NASCAR as well because we have Atlanta this weekend too, which is a great track. Um, Probably one of my favorite tracks to watch other than Bristol. Bristol's honestly my favorite track. It's always been my favorite since a kid. And it honestly probably has a lot to do with the Cars movie because that was the big race in the first scene of the Cars 1 Motor Speedway of the South. They're trying to imitate Bristol, and been there once for the trucks, and it's just probably one of the best experiences I've had, and can't wait to go back to Bristol. So, anyways, let's take a look at last year's IndyCar standings, and we can kind of get a little feel of who's the who and where we'll finish. So we also had some news. There's been some rumors going around that Honda was considering leaving IndyCar, and now that we know that's not the case, they're going to be staying in IndyCar. So we'll have Honda and Chevrolet and IndyCar for the foreseeable future. That's sad. There's only two manufacturers, but IndyCar, is competing with F1 and NASCAR here in the United States, and they got a lot of catching up to do. Not saying IndyCar is bad. IndyCar, in my opinion, is better than Formula One. There's more of a variety of racetracks. There's more racing in general, and it may not have the big names or the aura of F1, but it's just way more entertaining to watch. There's you see here. There's more winners, more leaders, and you know, it looks to me like almost every person except the few have led a race. That being said, a lot of these drivers, you know, their skill levels vary, but these cars, well, a lot of these drivers' skill levels vary, but these cars, they're more similar. It's like NASCAR. They're what's the word I'm looking for? They're pretty much at a level playing field. You can do some stuff working on some stuff there, but pretty much there's a strict rule book that these cars have to abide by. And people don't like that, but it makes for better racing, more entertaining racing. And that's it's becoming less and less popular now. People are wanting to go back to the more traditional style of racing. And maybe we will see that in IndyCar, but they need to get more manufacturers in there first. Ford, they should be eyeing Ford since they're joining F1. They should be looking at these other American manufacturers like Dodge. Dodge is jumping back in the NASCAR. Could they jump into IndyCar? That's a possibility. Uh, IndyCar has a lot of potential, and if they play their cards right, which they haven't, uh, it could definitely be in a lot better situation than it is now. The broadcast deal with Fox Sports that has a lot to do with their recent popularity growth. They do need to do more, and a lot of that comes with gaining more manufacturers, getting bigger names in here. The guys who got cut from F1 in here. I know it was rumored that Yuki Tsunoda was supposed to come to IndyCar. It just didn't happen. He was binded into Red Bull. So, and that's something that they can work on down the line is getting these other guys who don't quite have what it takes to be an F1 right now. They should get those guys who have popularity, grabbing Logan Sargent. That was good, but with him joining over at Ford for the endurance racing, yeah. But they still have good names like Alex Palou. Bro, he is a great driver. Some would say he is the Max Verstappen of IndyCar. Um, we have Pato O'Ward, Scott Dixon, Kyle Kirkwood, Colton Herta, who will be in F2 next year, Scott McLaughlin, Will Power. Dude, they have some solid names in here. And Alexander Rossi, for example, I honestly forgot he was in there. But they have solid drivers, dude. And if they could just play their cards right, they would be in a lot better situation. Alex Palou, he is probably the best driver in IndyCar right now. He won pretty much every race last year except a few. But if he continues what he's doing, I think he will probably be the guy to win the championship again next year. Granted, I like Pato O'Ward. I want him to win the Indy 500 because the past couple of years it's just been heartbreak for him. I know in 2024 he could have potentially won that championship. It was coming down to the last race at Nashville. Yeah, it just didn't go his way either. But I feel that he could potentially get that Indy 500 victory this year. Arrow McLaren has been putting a lot of work into their cars, and if that shows anything, it shows that they're wanting to get Pato that Indy 500 to win and compete for that championship. Yes, Honda has been pretty dominant in IndyCar recently. I know 2 years ago they won every single race, if I'm not mistaken, except a couple. Uh, I was just making sure it wasn't again this year, but Pato Award had the 2 wins. But if they can continue doing something, if Arrow McLaren can continue down this right path, they could definitely have a championship. And Pato Award, being the driver that he is, can get that Indy 500. Do I think 2026 is the year for that? It's iffy because Alex Palou, he's just if it's anything like last year, it's just going to be straight domination for him. I know there's a new track on the schedule with DC, but I don't really think that will throw things off too much. So just looking at this, I really think Alex Palou has this on lockdown. Um, I know the fans want Pato to get in there. I do too, but it's with Alex's dominance. It's and just with how similar these cars are, it's not anything that like an F1 that an upgrade package could do to change the outcome of a season. So let's take a look at this upcoming schedule. So we got obviously March 1st, we got the St. Petersburg Grand Prix where the trucks of NASCAR will be attending as well, which I think will be very interesting. I'll try to do some deep coverage on that, the truck series, and here in IndyCar. Damn, hate laptops, dude. Oh, schedules where we're wanting to go. But yeah, and then we got, dude, what is up with this? Then we got Arizona and Phoenix, and I'm pretty sure Xfinity Series, the O'Reilly Series, and NASCAR will be doing a doubleheader with IndyCar there. And then Streets of Arlington, that's going to be an interesting race. There will be racing around the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, so that's going to be pretty cool to see. That's a new track, and it's something. It's good for IndyCar that they're getting these new tracks in here, getting Texas, like getting the Cowboys interested enough to want to build a racetrack around their football stadium. So maybe this can be that growth that IndyCar is looking for. And then we'll head over to Birmingham, Alabama, March 29th. That's a historic racetrack with IndyCar. MotoGP's been racing there. Then we'll head over to Long Beach, the Streaks of Long Beach, and then we'll go to the Indy Road Course inside the Indy 500, and then the granddaddy of them all, the Indianapolis 500. Hopefully, knock on wood, my boy Pato wins it. And then we'll head up to Detroit, Michigan for the Streets of Detroit. And this is another thing. Well, I think like Ford and all these other Rust Belt manufacturers should get up in there because NASCAR really doesn't run in Detroit, and IndyCar pays homage to the manufacturing industry racing up there in Detroit. And we'll go up to Worldwide Technology Raceway. NASCAR runs there. It's a pretty good little track. I like that little, that turn one, turn two combo right there. Then it goes out, comes up to a bigger, wider turns in 3 and 4. It's entertaining as crap on iRace, indeed. Then we'll head up the Road America in Wisconsin, and then we'll head over to Lexington, Ohio. And Nashville, dude, it's a great track. I definitely want to hit up there. Every time I've seen videos of the racing there, it seems so entertaining and electric. It usually was the season-ending race, but they moved it up a little bit this year. After Nashville, we'll head up to Portland, Oregon, and up to Canada before heading to the Freedom 250. Hell yeah! In the United States capital, Washington D.C. That's going to be a great race, and I really, really hope to try to get up there because, and this is a great opportunity for a lot of people to go up there too because you don't have to pay. It's a free race. You just got to drive to DC. That's all you got to do. It's about 6-7 hours for me, but yeah. So yeah, I'd love to get up there, watch that for free in the nation's capital, and it'll be so entertaining to see, just how it is put on and yeah, it'd just be amazing, and I really hope to have the opportunity to see there. And if I am there, I will provide coverage, and I'll make sure my viewers feels as if they are there watching the race in person. And after that, we'll hit up a doubleheader at the Milwaukee Mile, which it's weird that they do a doubleheader right there, but you know IndyCar is IndyCar, and I hope that they can change that up, add some more tracks in there. Honestly, felt like they could. Well, I don't know because now they have an even number of races adding DC, but they could definitely change this out with another track at Atlanta, Texas. Bring back Texas, and yeah, it'll be way more entertaining than having a double header up in Milwaukee. Then after that, we'll go to Monterey, California for WeatherTech Raceway to end the season. I honestly thought there was going to be another race, but yeah. So that's the IndyCar season. I think our top three finishers will be Alex Palou, Spanish driver, and then Mexico's Pato Award #2, and my boy Scott Dixon for finishing in third place. Um, it's going to be an interesting season. You know, all these cars are similar. There's more hype coming into IndyCar this season, and I feel like more people are going to want to compete for that top spot, and especially going to want to win the Indy 500 for that points bonus. Um, do I think it's going to be a different outcome than previous seasons? With more people wanting to be more competitive, Alex Palou is going to need to be more competitive if he wants to maintain his dominance and crown. So I feel like that's going to drive his competitiveness up and potentially lead to him winning another championship, maybe in dominant fashion, maybe it's a neck and neck battle. But after races, we'll definitely go over IndyCar races here after March 1st. We'll definitely go over the Streets of St. Petersburg race and the Trucks race there, and definitely the NASCAR race that weekend there. Here soon, it's going to be getting pretty busy because we're going to have to dive into IndyCar, F1, NASCAR, and all that other good stuff. So I hope y'all stick around. So we're going to dive into Atlanta and my predictions about Atlanta. It's going to be a little bit shorter. This was an overview about F1. This is just going to be a little quick overview from the race. So Atlanta coming up. We would have taken a look at the entry list, but it's all the charted drivers. The charted drivers are staying in the original 36. But for the winner, I got Chase Elliott. After that Daytona race, that convinced me enough that this season he's locked in. He's locked in to win a championship this season, and especially with this points format, I feel like it's really going to benefit him. So my fantasy team kind of abides by my predictions of the race. I have Chase Elliott, Carson Hocevar, Austin Cindric, keeping Kyle Busch and Seabell. These drivers are really good super speedway drivers. Carson Hocevar honestly was not really considering picking him, but with his performance at Daytona, it shows how much he's improved from his rookie season last year. And I think that if he can continue building upon what he's been doing in NASCAR, he can be, I'm not going to say chill out with his driving, because his aggressive nature's what sells. His aggressive racing nature is what makes Carson Hocevar. And if people try to sit there and push him to, chill out, is that really going to benefit NASCAR? Because people sit there and complain, oh, NASCAR died when Dale died. And then when people like Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, and Austin Dillon, for example, at Martinsville, races aggressive, y'all complain and bitch about it. And then y'all sit there and complain, oh, NASCAR died when Dale died. But then, But yeah, we have all these great drivers who sit there and race aggressive, race good, and then y'all complain, dude. Like y'all acting like NASCAR's F1, and it's not, dude. Rubbing is racing in America. Even in IndyCar, you can rub a little. But, y'all want to be so proper about things, complain when your driver gets wrecked by somebody who did a cool little maneuver to, get past them. But that's fucking racing, dude. So, deal with it. Carson Hocevar, he's probably the future of NASCAR, him and Connor Zilisch, so they'll get used to it at this point. After that rant, I want to see Carson Hocevar win now. I really want to see him win a race, and it might make me change my pick for that 36 to Carson Hocevar. But while I'm probably still going to keep it Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott's dominant at Atlanta. It's his home track, and just his performance from Daytona probably is going to give him that motivation to win in Atlanta in his home track. He did that last year, and we're going to dive into it. So let's take a look at the other series. I'm just going to give a short little prediction, and we'll drive into these last 3 laps of the last year's Atlanta race where Chase Elliott took the victory. Great race. I watched it. So my prediction, obviously, for the Cup Series, Chase Elliott. And over here in the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series, do I think Austin Hill can get it again? No, I think Jesse Love. Yeah, he did prove himself last week to me. Probably other people too. But Jesse Love is probably one of the guys we're going to have to watch out for in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Probably could double it up, win back-to-back. Justin Allgaier, he's probably one of those guys too. But Jesse Love's proved a lot. Justin Allgaier probably wants to prove himself after wrecking out at Daytona in the Cup Series race last week. But that Jesse Love car is looking real good, and if he continues what he's doing, I think he's got, Atlanta pretty locked down. But another guy I'm saying to watch out for is Justin Allgaier. And in the Truck Series, let's see. A little tough race, but probably going to say Caden Honeycutt, dude. He's been rocking at her ear and running pretty good. But I would love to see a Ram win. It'd be interesting to see Brandon Queen win after running so good at Daytona. But, it's probably not going to happen. We're going to have Rams starting from completely scratch, dude. They got a lot of catching up to do. They don't even have sims, so they're just, they're coming out and racing. That's what they're doing. So maybe mid-season we can see something like that with a Ram victory. So let's get into these last 3 laps, and we'll call it a video. And I appreciate y'all sticking around. So this is from last year, Atlanta. Chase Elliott won. 3 laps to go.
The 9 in the corner, back to the top of the racetrack in front of 45 on the front straightaway. Big run for Reddick.
Tyler Reddick right there.
Reddick did not go to the inside. That was an opportunity. He clears the 6 into turn 1 if he does that.
2 laps to go. And remember,
Chase Elliott's
you want to have the lead on the final lap because if the caution comes out after the white, the race is over.
Cancer at the Children's Home in Atlanta. Number 9 and was there at the race. Cool
Chase Elliott, the 9, with the big momentum around the top of the racetrack. Coming to the white flag, the Hinder cars line up. Huge run coming.
Brad Keselowski leading, 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Caution comes out now. It's over. Here's Chase Elliott to the inside.
He's going to clear in the lead. Bowman dare not push that 6 car into the lead past the 9. Chase Elliott out front, side by side for second.
Chase Elliott trying to bring it back. What a victory this will be. Home track winner, Chase Elliott delivers at Atlanta.
Yeah,
Good job, man.
that was a good race, but bro, I hate on Alex Bowman a lot, but you can't deny it, dude.
This will be.
Bro's Daniel Ricciardo with that block
Home
right there.
track winner, Chase Elliott delivers.
Looky there,
at
dude.
Atlanta.
Teammate of the
Awesome
year.
job, man. Awesome. Thank you,
Teammate
guys.
of the year. I hate on him a lot. I don't want to see him in a Hendricks car, give it to the Connor or somebody different. But, hope he stays around in NASCAR. And I appreciate y'all staying around watching me yap for a while. And I hope to see y'all next time.